Well, this is a violin made by another genius, lived a little before Beethoven. It's made by Antonio Stradivarius in Cremona in 1724. You know, there were three or four violin makers in the 18th century that created violins that up to today, to our time, cannot be surpassed, simply because they bring together all the elements. They have the strength, the power of sound. They have the characters, the colors, and they have the beauty, which is of the form, the concept of the form that just works perfectly today. And the form of the violin, as we know it, has already been established back in the 17th century already, and has not changed. It has been changed maybe in minor details, but it hasn't. And what is really amazing is one has to say it, and I try to always remind this, that we take it for granted today that we hear a concert with, violin sound as we know it from Stradivarius, from Cremona, and so on. But we have to really believe and imagine that when this violin was made, that it was much before any of these great composers were alive and they wrote their music. I find this is fascinating because there was a certain kind of a prophetic element into the making. If we imagine that, where Mozart played his music, or even where Beethoven played his music, and where chamber music was played, and the size of the orchestras at the time, and where we are today, and we go out in a huge hall of 2,000, 2,500 seats, with an orchestra, of 100 people behind, with the brass and the woodwinds are all different, much stronger than they used to be, and even sometimes we have to play in halls with not so very good acoustics, and yet these instruments still function without any help, without any kind of amplification. I think that's magic. There is some kind of element there that is eternal, and it's like the same value that lies in the great music of Beethoven or Bach or Mozart, that is beyond time, and it's for all humans. And I'm very fortunate to be one of violinists that has the privilege to live with an instrument like this and play on it every day and work with it every day and try all the different repertoires and play music on it and learn from its sound and being challenged from the possibilities it gives you, but also challenge it as an instrument in terms of all the different elements that I need when I stand in front of an orchestra or in a big hall and so on. And I think that this is how can I say, these are also most of these instruments could be easily museum pieces. Some of them are, and to be able to live with one of them, I think what else can one ask for in life? As a violinist, I think there is not much one can ask for more. I've had it now for 3 years. 3 years that it's fascinating thing with an instrument is that one is like with a human being. You get to know each other. It doesn't mean that because it is great, it's first of all necessarily what one needs. You can have instrumentalists that don't have a good chemistry with certain instruments just because production of sound, what you hear, it's nothing to do that the instrument is bad or the player is bad. It's just the chemistry. It's like with another human being. And then when you start playing an instrument, the instrument adjusts to the playing of the player, and the player adjusts to the instrument itself. And so that is a give and take relation, which is really another reason for an artist or a violinist to get inspired. Because I think that the fact that this concept of sound was there 300 years ago, that's something that when I think about this and I start I'm almost scared, because that means that somebody has already imagined, even if the violins themselves did not sound like this then, but that means it's still there. I mean, when you imagine where the piano was at Beethoven's time, if not before, at Mozart's time, and where it is today, And that violin was the same. It looked exactly the same. And we only changed, the height of the bridge and minor details. So it means the sound was already there. And that I find quite, makes one feel very small and very, how can I say, as I said before, privileged or fortunate that one has this in hands.